3 shocking facts about the market that buyers and sellers need to know today.
I'm Sean.
I'm Kelly.
And here is our market report.
Okay, you go ahead and do,
Okay.
do 1 and 2.
1 and 2? Okay. So there are actually 3 things. So first of all, here we are, weekly market report. If you guys want to get straight to the graphs, then you can skip forward to the end of the market report. You'll see the graphs on there, and I'll go into all the details and all the data. But for those of you who want to hear what's actually going on in the market, if you could give a mood of the market, what would you give right now? How would your facial expression be? Ooh, like that. All right.
Like, I think that.
All right.
I think buyers are like, okay, all right, we're gonna get back in there. Sellers are like, oh, okay, I'm about to put it on the market. I'm gonna do it in just a second.
Just nailed it. That is perfect. That is absolutely true. All right, so what are the 3 facts?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna put the first 2 together because these kind of go together. But number 1, inventory is still extremely low, very, very low. And number 2, buyers are starting to come back into the market. And we're only expecting more and more buyers to come into the market as we get towards the spring. So we have a couple of points on that, one from the seller's perspective, one from the buyer's perspective.
I'm gonna hit on the buyers. May I?
Go for it, yes.
I don't wanna hit on you guys, but I wanna touch on the buyers real quick.
You're not touching on them either.
Anyway, okay, so let me specifically talk to the ones, those of you who had your pre-approvals a few months ago and you were shopping at a certain budget. And you went in and you looked at these houses and maybe you actually put offers on some and you were outbid, or were maybe tire kicking or a little nervous and didn't put any offers in, and now you're not tire kicking, you're kicking yourself, and someone's using the begging bench, hopefully cushioned, to beg for forgiveness that we let all of those slip by when we don't have anything right now.
Yep.
You're very sad and you're under the covers. So I want to say this. Try to get emotion out of it. There are ways to give almost any house that loving feeling we're all looking for in our homes, right?
Yeah.
So look for the important things. So check out your life. Do you have a dog that you walk regularly? Do you have kids with schools? Are you a foodie, restaurants, right? If you have the pet, pay attention to the neighborhood. Does it have sidewalks? Is it close to a park? Is it just overall nice to look at, right? Are you surrounded by houses that you enjoy admiring, you know? Kids, the schools, does it take you past a coffee shop on your way back home?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff that you can't renovate into a house or DIY your way into, right? The other stuff can come later. There are going to be opportunities for you to do a lot yourself. I mean, we've had an issue in 2 different houses where I went into meltdowns thinking, what have we done? What have we done? And then a coat of paint on it. And I'm like, oh, how did I ever doubt this place, right?
Yes, twice we've done that.
That's true. I do that a lot. But so I know what I'm talking about.
Coat of paint can work a miracle.
Coat of paint, chandelier. There are all kinds of things that you can do yourself. Or, hey, ask me. I can tell you how to do it, and we've got some people. Anyway, you can get the love and feeling in your house. Just go ahead, look in your budget, wipe off the cobwebs, get out there in your market. Don't be sad. It's going to be the right house.
Yeah, and part of the reason she's bringing this up is because people have in mind that they're buying their dream homes. But as buyers are coming back in the market right now, we are running into the situation where we're back to it. We had 4 offers this last week, and all 4 of them had multiple offers.
Yeah.
We had one that had 15 offers, another one had 7 offers. So
everything's going above ask again.
It's going above ask, no contingencies, clean offers.
Yes, people do around here have the cash to pay cash for a $500,000 house.
So she's giving you very good advice here, because if you got your dream-minded home and you're not willing to really go above and beyond and get rid of all these contingencies, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. So pick the area, and maybe the house, you can build that up later.
Yeah.
So that's from the buyer's perspective. From the seller's perspective, get in the market. We need the inventory. If you're thinking about coming on the market anytime in the next 6 months, please, let's talk. Let's get you into the market, because right now, even properties that were sitting for 100, 200 days, those are just getting gobbled up right now.
It doesn't have to be amazing. Don't wait to make it look perfect.
Your house can sell in the condition it's in at a price.
It's almost like, if I were the last person on earth, would I have a chance? Well, I mean, you're kind of like the last one, so you all have a chance.
Yeah, and just remember, if you've got things that you want to do to make the house look great, let us come in and analyze it for you. You may be making repairs that aren't going to make a difference in what you get for the house, and you may be wasting money because the next buyer may come in and change it.
If you think gray is still the right idea, Just
not
don't think
another
that.
subject. So anyway, so sellers, we need you to get in the market. Give me a call
Gray's
so we can sit
beautiful for
down.
those of you who have gray. It's just
Let's sit down and talk. And buyers, just be prepared. We're getting back into that competitive market. All right, and point number 3. Okay, so prices are not coming down. Okay, I just ran a report. I wanted to make sure I was not missing anything. So I ran a report right before shooting this video. I ran a report for Prince William County, Loudoun County, Arlington County, Alexandria City, Fairfax County. Did I miss anything?
Prince William?
I did Prince
Did you say
William.
that?
Yeah. So all the major counties up here in Northern Virginia. I looked at November of 2020 through January of 2023 right now. We are actually up this year, right now in January, all those counties combined, 4.7% from where we were last January. We are each month.
Oh, just made me fall off my stool.
That was shocking.
This is how tall I really am.
What if I had said 5%? Whoa!
Okay. I'm sorry.
So we are actually up 4.7% in all those counties combined. I didn't do them isolated. I did a report including all those counties. So 4.7%.
Right, so there's a little bit of a...
Yeah, a little variation within them, but so the prices are not coming down. Appreciation has come down. It's not 20% like it used to be. It's now 4.7%. But what does that mean? That means last year, if you're looking at a $500,000 house, that house is $520,000 now, or $525,000. If you're sitting on the sidelines waiting for prices to come down, costing here in this market, you are costing yourself money. Okay, so just keep that in mind, and we need to get to the market report.
We do.
Just be ready. We're getting back into that market. It's only going to get more intense as we go into the spring. Sellers, we need you in the market. Buyers, make sure your agent knows what they're doing. Make sure that they can coach you appropriately, so you're not taking risks that you can't tolerate. And and that's where we are. So we're going to get into the graphs now.
That's my cue.
So you can fall off the stool. Okay, so here we are with the actual graphs and the stats of what's been going on in the market. So just to kind of reiterate what Kelly and I were talking about, since things got a little bit distracting. But just to reiterate what Kelly and I were just talking about, the market in the last 10 days has become very, very chaotic. It's become very much like what we saw almost a year ago when interest rates had not yet started increasing. We're dealing with a lot of multiple offers. We're dealing with pretty much every property going off the market very, very quickly, and a lot of the older properties that have been sitting for an extended period of time, a lot of those are starting to get gobbled up, and you're actually going to see that in the graph. So I'm going to dive into that as well. All right, so let's get into the numbers and show you exactly what's going on. So as always, our buyer activity line is the orange line, and inventory is the blue line. And you can see in the last 7 days, we had an increase in both buyer activity and in inventory, which is good because you can see that the inventory is starting to have a little bit of an uptick in an upward direction. It's, why aren't you printing? Hold on 1 second. It's going in a upward trajectory, and then buyer activity is in an upward trajectory, and it's almost in a steeper upward movement. What's interesting about this is historically what we've seen is as inventory kind of went up and down, buyer activity would follow it up and down weekly. So basically, if there was inventory to buy, the buyers would buy it, and then if the inventory came down for a week, then there wouldn't be anything for the buyers to buy. So the following week, the buyer activity would follow it. So it's kind of a week apart correlation. But what we've seen in the last several weeks, I'm going to erase these lines so that you can see this. What we've seen in the last several weeks is that buyer activity has continued consistently up. So this is 1, 2, 3. The last 3 weeks, it's continually gone up. It did come down a little bit here, but that was following this steep decline here. So regardless of what inventory has been doing, buyer activity has been steadily increasing. So this explains why the properties that have been sitting through the fall and into the early winter months and even early fall, why these properties that have been sitting for 90, 120 days are all of a sudden starting to go off the market. A couple of things are happening. Number one, those sellers are finally realizing that they originally had it overpriced. It was not priced at market value, so they possibly brought it down. Also with the increased buyer activity, they've actually gone out and started buying those properties because there's no fresh inventory to buy, because the fresh inventory is coming on now and it's getting multiple offers and it's being taken off the market within the first weekend. So for buyers, it's really, really important that if you see a property you want, you have to get out there to look at it quickly. We've had several buyers that have been looking at properties and couldn't get out during the week and wanted to wait till the weekend, and it's gone by the time they can get out there to see it. So you need to start getting back into that mode of moving quickly, start getting back in that mode of just being in the right mindset for what this market means to you as a buyer. And again, sellers, we need your inventory, because as you can see, we are short on inventory. So the gap here in between indicates that we are in a seller's market because demand is higher than supply. So that explains why, even though we've seen a slowdown in appreciation, we have not seen a lowering of market value on the properties. We've actually seen the value of properties continue to go up. Like I said previously, the median house price of all those counties that we ran that report on is 4.7% higher this January than it was last January, in spite of the increased interest rates. So, and that is being powered by the fact that demand is outweighing supply. All right, if we take this data here, we go over to buyer's market versus seller's market, you can see that we're still well above the seller's market line. Remember, this is basically a neutral market, this orange line. Anything below this line indicates a buyer's market, and we did have a period of time over the winter that we had a buyer's market where we saw prices flattening. We didn't see them decreasing, but we saw them flattening. But here, the last several weeks, we have been pretty much consistently moving in an upward direction into that seller's market. And as we move into the spring, this is only going to get more intense. We will have some more inventory that comes on the market, but we're going to also have a larger influx of buyers that are going to be flooding the market as well. So the only way that this goes back to a neutral market over the next 6 months is if we have so much inventory that floods the market that there's enough to not just make up for the shortages that we have now, but to become a surplus. And I just don't see that happening. We just don't see that many sellers looking to liquidate their properties at this point. So if you're a seller and you're considering selling anytime in the next 3 to 6 months, get in touch with us. Let's talk about possibly putting you on the market now while there's less competition for you. And if you're a buyer, don't wait until spring or summer if you can at all avoid it, because I think it's only going to get worse for buyers as we move forward. Okay? If you have any questions, please let us know, and we'll see you on next week's market report.